Hi, how's it going? Um, 12.50 instead of what? $30, $40 instead of 24.99 US, which has got to be about 75 bucks Canadian. It's a pretty nice find yesterday. Do you still enjoy collecting? Is YouTube fun? Is interacting with people on the internet in general fun? For the most part, not really, but there is some really about the interacting with people. Sorry, not about the whole thing. Let me back it up a little bit. Social media tires me out, so I take many breaks. Not like big dramatic, have to make a video announcement about a break. Who fucking cares? Just go away. Don't make a big deal out of it. Having a good trigger finger when it comes to the mute and block button can help that out. The problem with Twitter these days is that even when people like some stuff, that's a part of the feed. It was happening for a while with me, and I blocked some people and it went away, and I wasn't noticing it as much. It seems lately I'm noticing it a lot more. That people are liking stuff, and it just puzzles me. Puzzles me to not get into details because I ultimately don't give a shit what you choose to like or what you don't like. I really don't care. It's your choice. It's your world. You're creating your world. You can bring into your world whatever the fuck you want. I honestly don't care. I really, really don't. Um, it just I don't also want to see that when I go through my social media. Um, when it's stuff I just find absolutely inane and asinine and juvenile and pathetic and a waste of your time and a waste of my time and a waste of everybody's time. And hey, Joan and Jella, how's it going? A waste of just life when there's other things to be doing. I just really scratch my head. So one thing that may happen, and this is sort of a video, if I do follow you on Twitter, and all of a sudden I'm not, it's not as much a comment on you as a person, because again, you do whatever the hell you want. I'm not here to tell you how to live your life or what you can like and what you can't like. I don't give a single shit. I just don't want you to get offended personally, because it doesn't mean that I don't like you as people. Because there's people that I interact with who have many different views from me in my regular life. I deal with a lot of people on a daily basis. We have close to 400 members. I have evolved in my work where I'm involved in other groups. I was in on a meeting today, for example, with a local politician. I'm not saying that as like, ooh, look at me, just that it's not a world that I'm used to. I'm interacting with more people I kind of have fundamental disagreements with on some pretty heavy, serious stuff. When I come home and I do this and I do this and I do this, I don't really want all that other stuff, to be honest. I really don't. I don't care who's ruining your favorite comic or your cartoon. I don't care. I don't want to hear it. I really just don't want to hear it. I'm not saying you can't talk about it. I just don't want to hear it. This is still really fun for me, all this stuff. It's really fun. Rediscovering music is really fun for me. Listening to records, trading. There's a comic swap meet happening this weekend, actually, with the local Winnipeg Comic Addicts group that I'm going to attend, doing a swap meet and a barbecue. One of the local shops, unfortunately, is closing, and the owner is moving out west, I believe Calgary. So kind of it's the last chance at this location to kind of get together and kind of talk comics and maybe trade some comics and just kind of hang out. I like that stuff. um, it's a good release. It's a good hobby. Now that I have a little bit more time, I enjoy my kind of hobbies and my time doing stuff that I like. Um, it just seems like lately there's been an inundation. It seems like things are kind of escalating all across the globe. And again, even locally on the news today on CBC, to and from work, things happening with a radio DJ, not important. Story doesn't matter. He's an asshole. He got fired. End of story. That's the gist of what you need to know. There's just this overarching kind of hostility out there that I don't quite understand the need to tell other people what they should do. I'm trying to word things carefully here, not to be just a blanket asshole. What do you care what other people like? What do you care about some fucking show that was around when you were a kid that's now around for other kids? What the fuck do you care? Who cares? You don't like it. Who cares? Move on with your life. I don't, I just don't know. I mean, I really honestly don't know. And then the idea lately that's been coming across in some areas of social media, again, I have a pretty good filter with my social media. So again, most of it I'm completely, I just am ignorant of my own choosing. I'm ignorant to my own choosing. But then there's still little bits and pieces that I see. This idea that kind of pops up in a various different formats is that somehow it's the left and liberals that are responsible for the way things are, and that just bothers me. That idea bothers me. A group of people who kind of have this expectation, for the most part. Again, we're not talking blankets here. I know that with each side, there's people that are really, really smart and people that are really, really fucking stupid. I understand that. But the idea that for the most part, people on the left, myself included, I'm far left, far, far left. The idea that there's this intolerance of people just being an asshole to another human being and saying something about it is somehow what's causing those people to be assholes is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. Again, you do not have to change your views of the world. I do not expect you to. I just don't want to hear it. If you don't like people of a certain skin color, of a certain age group, of a certain sexual, a certain gender, a certain sexuality, keep it to yourself. I don't want to hear about it. You can go on the rest of your life thinking hateful, awful shit about people. Go for it. Absolutely go for it. I will gladly give you a wide berth to walk right on through and go down that road. Just, I don't want to hear about it. Like, don't tell me about it. You're not going to sell me on it. I'm going to think that you're an idiot. And I just don't want that part of our comic reading adventure together. I was just watching a Howler Mouse video, and he was talking about a similar thing. It's like a 6-month-old video, just talking about, do people actually enjoy the hobby anymore and stuff. And it kind of just prompted this. Like, I really do enjoy the hobby. I don't collect new comics anymore. I still really enjoy it. I really enjoy doing videos. I really enjoy talking to you guys, like Joan and Jello, 64-page special, Paulo Costa, Mind the Comics, Volstix, everybody who comes to these chats and watches. I really, really enjoy talking to you guys. I know that I don't know everything about comics. I know that some of you, maybe 64 page special, knows everything about comics, but I enjoy these interactions. I like this stuff. I'm okay with not knowing stuff or being wrong about stuff. If you've seen my appearance on ETA Nick's contest video, you will be fully aware that I am okay being an idiot when it comes to some stuff. That doesn't mean that I don't enjoy it. I do enjoy this interaction. I do enjoy reading these things. I do enjoy collecting these things. Oh, Gore Vidal, how could I? Of course, Gore Vidal, of course. Good evening. Yeah, so I think I'm just feeling a little burnt out, and I just felt like just kind of getting that off my chest. Again, it's nothing here or there. This isn't some big dramatic I'm taking a break video that some people like to put together. It just was on my mind, and I'm just thinking about it. And I did get some books, and just wanted to remind everybody as well. Thank you very much, Mr. Joe Angelo. Gore Vidal, good evening. 64-page special. It's actually, should I show it or hide it? So I'm gonna show. There you go. There it is right there. I got to vent. This Sunday is the Swamp Thing Volume 1 talk on Mind the Comics. As I said, my son and I read it. I did a little bit of searching to see if there was any collected editions of early stuff. There is one called Genesis, I think, and the other called Roots of the Swamp Thing. Now, I'm not sure if Genesis and Roots of the Swamp Thing, the collected editions, pardon me, feature the same material reprinted. But what I didn't realize was that, and maybe it's the same with Genesis too. I haven't seen any of them. I stumbled across these just by a fluke. Single issues of Roots of the Swamp Thing. So, representing the origin of the creature, part 1 of 5. And here's a look at, for example, what's in that first issue. Is that focused? Pretty sure it is. Swamp Thing number 1, Swamp Thing number 2, etc., etc. And also check out this. Check out that wraparound cover. That's an amazing cover. I love that cover. So 3 of the 5 issues I managed to find. I showed them right at the beginning, but I'll show them again. Number 3 of 5 and number 5 of 5. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to reading those. Again, it's a character that I read from Alan Moore, and I only read really that chunk, and then the new, before it got all Rot Worlds and the green versus the red and all that, when it kind of got relaunched all those years back, I was following that series. I since have sold those. They just didn't make the cut when I was cutting down the collection. So I'm really just ignorant of the early Swamp Thing. So I'm looking forward to reading these. This is just from one of the shops. I haven't done the rounds through the city yet to find the last 2 issues. I'm sure it's not going to be that too well. I shouldn't say that and jinx myself. I'm hoping it's not going to be too difficult to find the rest of them. That'll be fun to read and then pass on to my son as well. While I grabbed that, he also had the final issue of Star Reach Classics that I needed, number 6, with P. Craig Russell and Patrick C. Mason's Parsifal. So I guess it was presented in 3 different parts across Star Reach, and then it got collected in its own book, which in the inside cover here, Mike Frederick says that he wasn't happy with the coloring. Originally presented in black and white, and now working with Eclipse, was happy to present the story in its entirety with some great coloring. So that'll be a good one. His art is just beautiful. I don't need to say that out loud. That's apparent. A little copy of Ghosts with the Spectre in it as well there. So that was a nice great little score. And then a copy of the Witching Hour with a pretty great cover there. In my continuing adventures of going down the path of horror comics. And then they were a couple of bucks, but they were in beautiful shape, and I couldn't resist. A couple of the Kitchen Sink Spirit magazines. What is this? Number 18. A lot of the times when I see these, they're fairly beat up. These ones are in really, really nice condition. This one, the corner is a bit banged up, but they're pretty decent. And again, any cover with Will Eisner doing a character in the rain, coming out of the water as he is here. I love it. Yeah, they really are. They're a really good read. Speaking of comics we enjoy, I reread Nightfall a few days ago. Still holds up after the decades. Really, hey? And then 64-page special, Glad to Know You Were Out of Control live too. Sweet Baxter paper, yes. Very nice wraparound for the Swamp Thing, yeah. And you have those Baxter paper reprints. So do you guys know anything about what I was talking about, the Roots of the Swamp Thing versus Genesis? Swamp Thing Genesis, those two collections, are they both presenting the same issues, just Genesis was an earlier reprinting and this Roots of a later reprinting? Any clues? I've got that Star Reach, but not all the series issues. Yeah, I'm missing a few issues, 10, 11, 12, and 13, I think, of the original Star Reach. And every time I see those ones, for some reason, the prices on those are always just out of control. And then, as I showed already, hardcover Jeremiah, which I have some of the single issues. And I have this, was it called Survivors, I think, in a graphic novel form. So that'll be good to read, because out of the Jeremiah single issues that I have, I don't have an entire run. So it's great to kind of have them collected in a nice hardcover edition, which I do enjoy. There we go. Yeah, that was pretty much it. Like I said, I just wanted to vent about that one thing off the top and just get it out of my head and just let it go, let it fly away and exist in its own world and just get the hell out of there. Did the radio show last night. My son came on to the radio show last night with my brother and myself, and it was a really good time. His best line, tell me a little bit about yourself. And his response was, well, I came from a woman, which had me and my brother on the floor. Just his delivery and everything was brilliant. I think he had a great time hanging out, playing some stuff, playing some music. He's really all about Nine Inch Nails and Marilyn Manson right now. So those kind of made a rotation. And still Queens of the Stone Age, but Marilyn Manson is really his guy, and he's dipping into some Ministry, and he's probably dipping into some Skinny Puppy. I played him a bit of Skinny Puppy and Frontline Assembly. We'll see where that leads to. But my brother was pretty excited about it. My brother was a huge industrial music fan growing up. Nitzreb, Lard, Pigface, etc., etc., etc. Anything that Ogre did, all these kind of industrial bands. So he was pretty stoked to see that my son was right on that note musically. And just kind of excited at the world that was going to be opened up to him once he kind of dug a little deeper, especially with Nine Inch Nails when it comes to some of the remix albums and the guests that are on those kind of things. You don't know. That's fine. I'm just too lazy to look. I'm sure I can find out the information myself. I just thought since you're all here, I would ask. yeah, so Sunday is the hangout with Mind the Comics, Howler Mouse, and Paulo Costa about Volume 1 of Swamp Thing. Curious to see what those guys say. Again, I was hoping to get those 5 issues before Sunday so I could kind of fire through those Roots of the Swamp Thing, so I could kind of catch up a little bit, because I know Tim is a huge fan and he'll have a lot of history to kind of pass on to us all, about the character and its creation and kind of the arc beforehand. And as I said before, with characters like even Daredevil leading into Frank Miller's run, uh, the idea of watching that progression, because I wasn't there at the time, reading that progression for myself, is a big part of it. Just kind of see how much it actually impacts when it does kind of hit these key issues that have kind of stood the test of time. Seeing that in its context is a very interesting idea to me. I really like that idea of absorbing yourself in that world. So when the change comes, you're right there like they may have been or must have been back in the day of, holy shit, what the hell is this that they're doing with this character? That kind of stuff excites me. Comics are exciting. Social media is poison. Keep it at arm's length. Just take time off from it. Don't absorb yourself in there. Don't It's just for your own health, really. Like, it's just mind-blowing to me, the poisonous world that's out there with social media. I've got to read that Frank Miller DD. Saw it was new wave back in the day. Comic book aesthete, how are you? Nice to see you. Thanks for joining. Trying to think if there was anything else. Jiro Loves Sushi. It's a good documentary. If you haven't seen that one, that's a pretty good one. Yeah, I got nothing. That's it. Thanks very much. Appreciate you guys tuning in. I feel better already. I'm going to go to bed and face a brand new day tomorrow. Hope to see you all on Sunday. And thanks a lot for tuning in. I always appreciate you guys hanging out. You're all the best. And thanks a lot, and we'll see you again.